Good afternoon, class. This is Coach Nelson. Before we begin, let's just remind you that we want to turn in our assignments. Either it'll be once a week. Handwrite them in, and get them to me. All right. Let's go ahead and begin. First of all, you should have the notes in front of you where it says dispersion. Go ahead and write this in the box. It says how the data is spread about the mean. Again, that's how the data is spread about the mean. And so, guys, you go ahead and pause it. I'm going to keep going, so whenever you guys need to pause it, go ahead. The mean absolute deviation is the average distance of each value from the mean. The average distance from each value from the mean. And you have that formula right next to it, so we'll use that throughout the day. Next one is standard deviation. It shows how data deviates from the mean. Use with a bell curve. So we'll use that later on in a different assignment, but these are going to blend all together. So you want to write down shows how data deviates from the mean. And you have variance is the standard deviation squared. Variance is the standard deviation squared. Let's go ahead and start with some example problems now. Okay, let's go ahead and look at data set A to start with. So to start with these, to find everything, you first need to find your mean. Again, from last week, we know to find the mean, you just add up all the numbers that were given and divide it by how many numbers there are. So we're dividing this by 5. All right. So right off the bat, I can cross out here and here because they add up to 0. And since we actually have a 0, we can cross that out too. So those three cancel each other out. So 20 plus 30 is 50. So 50 divided by 5, of course, is equal to 10. So our mean is equal to 10. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and clear this out. And so our next step to find the mean absolute deviation is to subtract our original data points. So let me go ahead and write the original data set again. And we're going to subtract each one of those numbers by 10. And we're going to take the absolute value of each of these numbers. So whenever I have a negative, like say right here, this becomes, since we're taking the absolute value of that, that will become 20. So quickly, 0 minus 10, that gives negative 10. Absolute value of that becomes 10. Same thing here, 0, absolute value 0, 0. Positive 10, that's always going to be positive. And 20, absolute value of that will always be that same number if it's positive. All right, so what we do with these new numbers is we're going to add them together. So 20 plus 10 plus 0 plus 10 plus 20, that will give you 60. Divide 60 by 5, you should get 12. And that is your MAD, or your mean absolute deviation. So find the standard deviation. So we're going to take those new numbers that we had in the new set, 20, 10, 0, 10, and 20. And we're going to take the square root of each of these numbers. Alright, so 20 squared will be 400. 10 squared is 100. And 0 squared is 0. And so we add up all these numbers. So we have 400 plus 100, that's 500, plus another 100 is 600, plus 400 is 1,000. And we're going to take 1,000, divide that by 5. And that gives us 200. And as you can tell on your sheet there, we need to take the square root of this number. So square root of 200, rounded up to the 10th place, is 14.1. And so that equals our standard deviation. And I'm going to abbreviate that SD. And to find the variance is just our standard deviation, which is 14.1 squared. And round to the 10th place, that would be 198.8. All right. Let's go to section data set B. Let's go 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And so we have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Again, we need to find the mean of that. So 8 plus 9 plus 10 plus 11 plus 12. You should get 50. Again, mean, you're going to take the average. So you divide it by how many numbers there are. So 50 divided by 5. And that gives us 10. And so that equals our mean. Alright, again, pause when needed. I'm going to go ahead and write down those numbers again. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And so what we do next, again, we subtract our mean from the original numbers. And again, we're taking this, we're taking the absolute value of these. So I have -2, that gives us 2. -1 gives us 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2. Add those together. Gives us 6. And we're going to divide by 5. 1.2 is our MAD. Again, pause when needed. So we're going to take the new numbers that we just made. So we have 2, 1, 0, 1, 2. Square those. 4, 4, 1, 1, 0. Alright, and so that gives us 10. 10 divided by 5 equals 2. Square root of 2 is equal to 1.4 approximately. And then what we need to do, and that's equal to our standard deviation. And then for our variance, we need to square 1.4, which is equal to about 2.0. It comes out to like 1.96. Again, we won't round up, so everything rounded up would be equal to 2.0. Next problem, data point C, 1, 3, 12, 15, and 19. All right. So again, these aren't going to be in perfect order now. It's not going to be the exact middle one for the mean. So we have to take the mean and add it. 12, 15, and 19. Add all those together. 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 12. That's 16 plus 15. 16 plus 15 equals 31 plus 19 is equal to 60. Divided by 5. Actually, that's equal to 50 divided by 5, which is equal to 10. That's the mean. So we have the mean, so we have to subtract everything from that. Three, 12, 15, 19. All right. Subtracting everything by the mean. -9 gives us 9. -7 gives us 7. 2 gives us 2. 5 gives us 5. 9 gives us 9. And so add all those up together. 16, 18, 23, 32. Divided by 5. 32 divided by 5 gives us 6.4 as the MAD, or the mean absolute deviation. So we take those numbers that we had, 9, 7, 2, 5, and 9. Square them. Nine squared is 81. 7 squared is 49. 2 squared is 4. 5 squared is 25. We go ahead and add these up. This should give you 240 divided by 5. 48. And when you type in 48 into the calculator, square root it, this should give you an answer of 6.9 when rounded. So our standard deviation is 6.9. And our .9 squared will give us 47.6. And that's our variance. Couple more, and then I'll let you do the rest of them on your own. Again, go ahead and work with me here. So we're going to go ahead and get something that's not 5 terms now. 2, 54, 49, 62, 48, 53, and 50. So what we need to do, again, is add up all those numbers together to get our mean. So let's go ahead and add those up. 62 plus 54 plus 49, 62 plus 48 plus 53 plus 50 equals 348. Excuse me, 378. Divide that by 7 gives us 54. All right. So 54 is our mean. So we have our mean, and so we're going to subtract everything by those numbers. So that first number, to save time, I'm not going to write down the numbers. You guys follow along as you can. We should have 8 plus 0 plus 5 plus 8 plus 6 plus 1 plus 4. And we're going to divide all of those by 7. So 8 plus 0 plus 5 plus 8 plus 6 plus 1 plus 4, that should give you 32 over 7, which gives us a MAD of 4.6. So that's the equals MAD. And so standard deviation, we're going to take those numbers. So 64 squared, or 8 squared is 64, 0, 25, 64, 36, 1 and 16. So this equals 100, this equals 17, that equals 89. 89 plus 17, that equals 106 plus 100 equals 206. We want to take 206 divided by, again, how many numbers we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Divided by 7 is 29.24, blah, blah, blah. Take the square root of this number and round to the 10th place. Should give you 5.4. And that again is our standard deviation. And so to find variance, you want to square 5.4, which is 29.2.
All right, I want to make sure who's all paying attention by now and learning and actually following along with the video. So, again, do everything I've told you and everything. The only way I know that you guys are going to do it is if you listen closely. Um, you just need to do one more problem to have a completed assignment. Make sure you know that you're listening. I would suggest probably like number 3 on that next sheet, on that sheet that we're doing now, would be best. If you want to do it all, that's fine. Absolutely, go ahead. I'm not going to fault you for that. But I just want to see who's listening. So make sure you're following along. Make sure you're getting updates, uh, getting my emails and everything. So for next time, this is Coach Nelson's. Remind you to stay home, stay safe.